When you think about sports leagues, you no doubt think about how rivalries form and help make the game better. Bears, Packers, Lakers, Celtics, Cardinals, Cubs, that kind of thing. But what gets lost in the hustle and bustle is that sometimes players on other teams are honestly really good friends, even best friends, which makes us wonder, how many of these pairings do you know? Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 7. LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. This one might be a bit obvious, but it absolutely needs to be said for various reasons. At their peaks and primes, which for one might still be going on, both LeBron James and Dwayne Wade were some of the best players in the game and possibly of all time. Wade is retired now while LeBron is playing with the Lakers and still dominating, because that's what he does. But you'd think that their incredible play would lead them to a fierce rivalry, and yet it didn't. It instead led to a deep friendship that obviously got so good that they decided to take their talents to South Beach and play together alongside Chris Bosh on the Miami Heat. They went 4 straight NBA Finals and won 2 before LeBron left to go back to Cleveland to settle an old score. Wade and LeBron hang out a lot, even celebrating birthdays together and renting private yachts in order to have a lot of fun. Their families are close too, thus heightening the friendship. We focus on LeBron's playing skills a lot, but when it comes to being a best friend, D-Wade would definitely say he's the top dog in that department as well. And he's not the only one to think that. Number 6. LeBron and Chris Paul. Given the visibility of LeBron and D-Wade, you'd think that none would be higher than that. But you'd be wrong, because LeBron has another BFF who is still in the league today, and that would be Chris Paul. The floor general, as he is known, is one of the greatest to never win a ring, yet. But with LeBron, he's already a king, and not for the reason you might think. Because these two are so close that LeBron named Paul the godfather to his daughter. Think about that level of trust between these two that this would happen. Godfather is a role that isn't to be taken lightly, especially in this day and age. So clearly, LeBron feels strongly about his friendship with Chris Paul to make that happen. And yet, ironically, they've never played together on an NBA team outside of the Olympics. Number 5. Kevin Durant and Michael Beasley. You're going to see Kevin Durant twice on this list, but first let's talk about his lesser-known close friendship with Michael Beasley. Kind of ironically, they not only grew up together, they played on many of their earliest teams together. Though by college they went to separate schools. It was both in the Big 12 and they dominated there. Obviously, when it came to NBA success, Beasley was a bit of a bust while Durant shined. That didn't stop their friendship from continuing. In one interview, Beasley said that Durant was basically his first friend ever. Number 4. Donovan Mitchell and Royce O'Neal. Heading now to Utah, we look at 2 Jazz players who have had very different paths to the NBA, but came on to the Jazz in 2017 and have been friends ever since. Mitchell is considered one of the top-tier players in the league, while O'Neal has been a big help in elevating that Utah Jazz into contenders in their own right. But during their rookie year, they bonded in a way that few knew. They even lived on the same floor of their apartment building, and it was said you couldn't find one without the other. High praise indeed. Both are still on the Jazz, and their friendship is the pure kind that you can't help but love. Number 3. The Golden State Warriors core. The Golden State Warriors are the most recent dynasty in NBA history as they went to 5 finals in a row and won 3. Should have won 4 to be honest. But what separates this group from teams of the past are the core characters of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Coach Steve Kerr. These aren't just players and a coach that work well together, they're basically a family. They know how to rely on one another and get the best out of each other. So they go beyond the typical friendship rules and are basically a family. And not so ironically, the Warriors suffered heavily this current season because 2 of those core members were injured for much of the season. Next season though, they'll be back and taking names. Number 2. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. This is a friendship that resulted in what could be a powerful force once all the stars align and the injuries heal. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are really good friends for a very simple and basic reason. They grew up in the same area and even played together at times, which is a really rare thing when you think about it. Through their time in the NBA, both Irving and Durant achieved great success, including Irving helping LeBron win a ring in Cleveland and Durant helping the Golden State Warriors secure their dynasty by going to 3 straight finals with them and winning 2 of them. And then when they both hit the free agent market, the two both decided to go and play together on the Brooklyn Nets. Now the only problem is that the two haven't been able to actually play together due to injuries. But next season could be game on for the BFFs, who will be seen as favorites in the Eastern Conference, no doubt. Number 1, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Yeah, this one might seem out of phase because of The Last Dance and certain comments that both of these guys said about one another. But whether you call them best friends or just loyal friends, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen weren't just 2 of the best ever on the court, they had a high level of respect for one another. For example, in The Last Dance, Jordan said point blank that he never won a title without Scottie Pippen, which was very true. Scottie himself also noted that Jordan pushed him to be a better player, and he was very grateful for that. Plus, think about the flu game, which was later revealed to be the food poisoning game, when Jordan pushed through the pain and the sickness to keep going and help get the Bulls the win at the end. He went to one person to support him, Scottie Pippen. And while the two obviously have very different paths and careers right now, one is a team owner and the other is a broadcaster on ESPN, tell that they still have a deep love and respect for one another. There you go, a look at the various NBA BFFs that just so happen to be in the league and out of it. Were you surprised by who was on this list? Did you know that some of the pairs honestly were best of friends? Which one surprised you the most? Do you know another duo that should have been on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and we'll see you next time on the channel.